Hello students of class 5. The other day we had started with the explorers, and the first explorer was Henry the Navigator, or Prince Henry of Portugal. We have seen that most of the sailors who set out on who had undertaken these great voyages were you know um, Spanish or Portuguese sailors, and this Prince Henry of Portugal, what did he believe? He believed that he could. This is Portugal, okay, and this is Spain. So he thought that if he traveled right around this northwest coast of Africa, then by sailing around this he could reach India. Now Prince Henry of Portugal, he did set out on a he did set out on a journey between the years 1420 and 1460 CE, and he not only discovered new lands, but these discoveries also helped in expanding trade. Now the next was Bartholomew Diaz. So Bartholomew Diaz, what did he do? He actually, he was also a Portuguese sailor, and he set out with his ships and he sailed right around this place, and he reached the southern tip, which he named the Cape of Good Hope. Okay. Now he was helped by the strong winds and currents, and he followed them and he reached till this point, but he could not go further. Why? Because his the men, the crew of his ship, they were very tired and they did not want to go any further. Now when Bartholomew Diaz and Henry the Navigator, they were thinking of taking this route, there was another person named Christopher Columbus. Instead of traveling through the northwest coast of this Africa, he thought that he was actually an Italian sailor. Okay, Italy is, you have France, and here somewhere here you have Italy. But he spent most of the time in Spain. So he was helped by the Spanish king and queen. And what did he do? He set out on his journey and he thought of traveling westwards, this portion, and here, and he went till this portion in the Caribbean Sea. Okay, and he discovered many new islands, which he thought was actually East Indies. But at that time, this portion was not known to people in Europe. He made many voyages, and he discovered many islands in the also in the north of South America, islands in the north of South America, which we today call West Indies, but he actually thought it was East Indies. So this was what Columbus had discovered. What Columbus actually did, Columbus's voyage, how it helped was that he actually discovered a new continent called America. This was Bartholomew Diaz, and this is Christopher Columbus. Now this map is not drawn to scale, by the way. Okay. Now we come to the person or to the explorer who actually was successful in reaching India, and his name was Vasco da Gama. Now, this Vasco da Gama, what did he do? He was also a Portuguese person. Okay, and he followed the route of Henry the Navigator and Bartholomew Dias. Vasco da Gama left Portugal in 1497 CE. He sailed around the Cape of Good Hope. That is, he started from here and he sailed around the Cape of Good Hope. Okay, and finally Cape of Good Hope and reached the port of Calicut on the west coast of Calicut, somewhere here down. Okay, here Calicut, it's in Kerala. Reached the port of Calicut in the west coast of India in 1948. He returned to Portugal in 1499. He returned to Portugal in 1499 CE with ships full of Indian spices and goods. This discovery established a direct relation between India and Europe. Okay, so he was the first person. This was the route of Vasco da Gama. Okay, now he was the first explorer who was successful in reaching India. He reached India in 1498 CE and he returned back in 1499 CE with lot of spices, Indian spices and other goods. Okay, so he was successful in establishing a direct trade link between Europe and Asia. Then the last person is Ferdinand Magellan. Okay, now Ferdinand Magellan, again he was a Portuguese sailor. In 1519 CE, he sailed westward around the southern tip of American continent, crossed the Pacific Ocean and reached the Philippines Island. So he took the route of Christopher Columbus. So he started from Portugal. He went round this South America and he reached the Philippines Island. If you look into your book, you'll see it. Okay. See, now you have to think that the world is it's not a flat one. The world is round. Okay. So where was I? Yes, he crossed the Pacific, reached at the southern tip of the American continent, and then he reached the Philippines Islands. It's there. Magellan was killed in Philippines, but his ships and with few sailors sailed across the Indian Ocean. Okay, so they sailed across the Indian Ocean round the Cape of Good Hope. So they went round and they came here, Cape Hope, to reach Spain in 1522. So 1519 and 1522. That is, they almost sailed. They sailed for 3 years. And what did this journey prove? It proved that the earth was round. So with this we come to the end of the explorers. Now now we come to the importance of the great voyages of discovery. Importance means, or rather the effects of the great voyages of discovery. What were the effects? There were some good effects and some bad effects. Now, what were the good effects of the great voyages of discovery? Good effects was that it expanded trade. Okay, many new items were introduced from Asia to Europe. Okay, many new items from Asia. Then these textiles, indigo, all these and many new things were also new items from America. New items were also introduced by America. But all was not good. Okay, there were some bad effects of this great voyages of discovery. These were the good effects. And what were the bad effects? One was colonization, and another was the slave trade that began in Africa. So now let us read what is given in your book. These voyages had very important effects. These voyages had very important effects on the lives of people in Europe and other parts of the world. There was an increase in world trade, as I said. European countries began to trade with Asia and America. Asia introduced spices, gems, paper, ivory, textiles, and porcelain to Europe. Potatoes, cocoa, corn, and tobacco, which were new to Europe, came from the America. So as I said, new items. I didn't mention the items. So this was the good effect of the great voyages of discovery. Now what about the bad effects? As new lands were explored and conquered, the process of colonization of Asia, Africa, and Latin America began. The areas that were conquered became colonies of the European countries. The native people of the colonies lost their independence. Okay, and in many cases they were exploited by European powers. Sadly, slave trade began in Africa, wherein thousands of people were sold as slaves to the Americas. So with this we come to the end of the chapter. Hope you have understood the chapter, and question and answers will be given. Along with that, homework will also be given in the PDF. Please do it properly and neatly in your classwork copy. Okay, thank you, students.